Welcome to Lesson 3 of Module 1. It's now time to turn inward again, but with a more focused lens. If self-awareness is about understanding ourselves as a whole, this next section narrows in on one of the most powerful elements of that understanding, our personal strengths. Strengths are the positive traits, qualities, or abilities that come naturally to us. They're the aspects of ourselves that energize us, that we feel drawn to use, and that, when tapped into, lead to greater well-being, motivation, and satisfaction. Unlike skills, which are learned through repetition, or talents, which might appear effortlessly, strengths are deeply rooted in our values and ways of engaging with the world. They often show up across different areas of our lives, at work, in relationships, in challenges, and even in hobbies. And when we recognize and use them intentionally, we tend to feel more engaged, empowered, and fulfilled. Positive psychology pioneers Martin Seligman and Christopher Peterson, 2004, define strengths as morally valued traits that lead to human flourishing. In other words, strengths are not just what we're good at, they're qualities that help us and others thrive. Some examples are curiosity, perseverance, kindness, humor, or leadership. Importantly, these are not just personality quirks or superficial labels. They are internal resources, psychological capacities that we can build on, draw from, and grow over time. And they're not reserved for those with prestigious titles or exceptional talents. In fact, one of the most empowering realizations is that everyone has strengths, but not everyone has taken the time to recognize them.
Why?
Because strengths don't always come with external validation. We often overlook them because they feel natural. We assume everyone can do what we do. But what feels easy for you might be difficult for someone else. Maybe you're the one who always notices when a friend is struggling, or who naturally brings order to chaos, or who makes others laugh even during hard times. These are clues to your strengths. Unlike achievements that are measured by trophies, promotions, or praise, strengths are often quietly powerful. They may not always get recognized, but they are deeply significant and essential to living a life of meaning. As we continue through this section, we'll explore how to identify your personal strengths, how to differentiate them from mere skills or talents, and how to begin using them more intentionally in your daily life. Remember, your strengths are not just what you do well. They're who you are when you are at your best. A common question that often comes up in coaching and training settings is, what's the difference between a strength and a talent? At first glance, the two may seem interchangeable, since both refer to things we're good at. But in fact, they represent very different aspects of personal development, and understanding the distinction can reshape how we view our potential. Talents are typically thought of as innate, natural abilities, something we're born with. For example, running exceptionally fast, picking up new languages easily, or solving math problems with little effort. These are abilities that seem to emerge early, often without structured training. Talents can be extraordinary and impressive, but they aren't the full story of what makes someone successful or fulfilled. Strengths, on the other hand, are more deeply connected to our core character and inner dispositions. They often reflect how we behave, think, and relate to others across situations. For instance, staying calm under pressure, being able to see both sides of a conflict and mediate fairly, or showing courage in the face of adversity. Unlike talents, strengths can be nurtured, refined, and intentionally practiced, even if they're not initially obvious or effortless. They're often driven by values and purpose, rather than external validation or comparison. Here's a useful way to think about it. Talent is what you're born with. Strength is what you build, own, and apply. In fact, research in positive psychology suggests that strengths are a better predictor of long-term success and life satisfaction than raw talent alone. That's because strengths shape how we deal with challenges, relate to others, and pursue meaningful goals. You might not have an extraordinary IQ, but if you have persistence, you might outperform someone with more cognitive ability who gives up easily. Or, you may not be the most charismatic speaker, but your strength in empathy might make you a powerful communicator who connects deeply with your audience. That's the power of strength over talent. It's grounded in action, values, and intention. You don't need to be gifted to live meaningfully. You just need to know who you are and lean into the traits that help you grow, connect, and contribute. So next time you find yourself comparing your talents to others, remember, it's your strengths that shape how you show up, not just what you were born with, but what you choose to cultivate. To help people better understand and identify their personal strengths, psychologists Christopher Peterson and Martin Seligman developed the VIA, Values in Action, classification of character strengths, a foundational framework in the field of positive psychology. This system outlines 24 universal character strengths, organized under 6 core virtues that have been valued across cultures and time: wisdom, courage, humanity, justice, temperance, and transcendence. These strengths aren't limited to a particular age, profession, or personality type, but they're inherent capacities that can be nurtured throughout life. Whether you express humor in difficult situations, show perseverance in your goals, or demonstrate fairness in group settings, these traits reflect your personal strengths in action. To discover your own unique combination of strengths, you can take the VIA Inventory of Strengths, VIA-IS, a scientifically validated, free self-assessment tool. It provides a personalized profile ranking your 24 strengths and highlighting your top 5 signature strengths, the ones you use most naturally and frequently. Sometimes, we aren't fully aware of our own strengths until someone else helps us see them clearly by reflecting them back to us. This is where feedback becomes not just helpful, but invaluable. Input from others can illuminate the abilities and positive qualities we possess, especially those traits that we might easily overlook, underestimate, or take for granted in ourselves. Often, we get so caught up in our daily routines and self-judgments that we fail to recognize the unique talents we bring to the table. For example, you might be someone who naturally uplifts and inspires others without even realizing the impact you have. Or perhaps you have a knack for bringing order to chaotic situations, organizing people and tasks effortlessly. These qualities might seem ordinary to you, but can be profoundly valuable to those around you. One way to uncover these hidden strengths is to reach out and ask the people in your life meaningful questions like, "When do you see me at my best?" Or, "What do I do that you truly appreciate or rely on?" The answers you receive may reveal strengths you had never consciously acknowledged before, providing new insights about yourself. To deepen self-awareness, think of a recent moment when you felt completely in flow, that state of being fully focused, energized, and deeply satisfied with what you were doing. What was happening at that time? What specific strengths or abilities were you using that contributed to that positive experience? Take some time to write down 2 to 3 qualities that best describe you when you are performing at your best. Next, ask yourself an important question. Are you regularly using these strengths in your daily work or personal life? If not, consider how you might intentionally incorporate them more often. This reflection can help you align your activities with your natural abilities, enhancing both satisfaction and performance. Spend about 5 to 7 minutes journaling your thoughts here, allowing space for honest self-exploration.